Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Hamilton Dunlop, and doing another weekly wisdom call, as I do. I am using the royal we there, and talking to you about this book without a binding, this sacred book of geometry that was hidden in plain sight. Let me see, what other metaphors can I use to describe it? The Book of Thoth, it was called at one point in our history. The Book of Destiny, the Tablets of Destiny, the Book of Life. There's many names that this knowledge has gone by. And hidden in plain sight. Persecuted, banished, verboten. Called the Devil's Bible or the Devil's Picture Book. And unfortunately, all too many people still buy into that propaganda and still think it's all stuff and nonsense and all silliness. Still going with that programming and that conditioning that taught us all to disbelieve in our own authority and our own sovereignty, that taught us all that we needed to have someone else tell us what was right for us, or have someone else tell us what to avoid, have someone else tell us how to live the best and happiest life for ourselves. All that stuff and nonsense that we've been programmed with. And having this tool available to us to guide us, to redirect us when we may have gone off course in our own experience, when our own thinking leads us astray. Because that is what leads us astray, is our thinking. This extraordinary tool that we have that helps us construct our reality, if not guided properly, this tool can do other things, right? A hammer and a wrench and a saw and a screwdriver, these are just tools. It's all how we wield the tool that makes a difference. And this mental power that we have is a tool that we have. And it's important that we wield this tool happily, gracefully, in alignment with our I am consciousness, in alignment with unconditional love as well. These are the two primary filters by which this thinking mind best operates. And if it's not operating from I am consciousness and unconditional love, then this thinking power that we have spirals badly out of control. Fortunately, we now have a tool come back to us, this tool, to help us calibrate this tool of our mind, and that's what it does. This is a conceptual tool, this is a mental toolkit to help us frame our thinking accurately and effectively so we know how to think and what to focus our mental power on. That's what it gives us. There are 52 cards in this deck, and there are 52 weeks in the year. Not a coincidence. Each week is symbolized by one of these cards, and thus each week is represented energetically by one of these conceptual symbolic markings. And the week that we're in, the 48th week of the year, is rendered by this Nine of Spades. This is the symbolic depiction of the energy pattern in play this week. Spades is the suit of consciousness. The spade itself is an acorn. And the nine is represented as a ladder. You can see that it's a ladder. And utilizing this ladder, we can climb up to heaven or we can climb down to hell. This is the Jacob's ladder that's referenced in our Western canon of Scripture. The ladder that we can climb all the way up or all the way down. And what it means is we can do it through our own imagination, our own visualization. We can imagine solutions that elevate and uplift. We can visualize next level possibilities. We can also imagine, going down the ladder, our own doom and gloom, and we can visualize paranoid, hypochondriac, cynical, woe is me, going to hell in a handbasket outcomes. We can visualize all of the above and below. So it can be a wild ride, needless to say. You can go up and go down, go up, go down. One moment you might imagine that you're an enlightened genius, and in the next moment you might imagine that you're a worthless pile of turd. All the way up, all the way down. And if you didn't know that this is an energy frequency that you're riding in, right? These are the waves that you're riding in this week. If you didn't know that, you could very easily start judging yourself for having this wild ride, judging yourself for your own quote-unquote manic behavior. You might even start worrying whether you're bipolar or schizophrenic. All right. You might even think, oh gosh, I need to take my antidepressant medication or double my dose or something like that. This is an energy frequency that you're riding in, right? It's like if you go outside and there's a snowstorm and there's a blizzard, and you start to imagine that the snowstorm means that you're a worthless pile of turd. But that's what we do. That is what we do. And that's how absurd it is in a certain sense. That we experience this really strong energy field around us, this blizzard of consciousness, of possibilities, and then blame ourselves for why we're experiencing this tremendous up and down of energy, as if there's something wrong with us, as if we are, I don't know how to say it any more than that, as if we are the victims, I guess, but not the victim. We don't even realize that we're the victim. We think it just is us. And it's what gets taught in the Eastern philosophical and religious tradition as being attached to our own ego, right? Being attached to our own way of thinking as this is reality, right? So we're experiencing a blizzard of energy all around us, and we're thinking, oh God, what have I done? What's wrong with me? Why am I experiencing this? Going into panic mode because we're attached to our own conceptions of ourselves in reality. So, to play this one well, which we're all experiencing now, and whenever this Nine of Spades is present, because if you're following along, you know that you have life cards. You have 13 cards in your life, which I write about in my book, Play Your Cards Right, A Sacred Guide to Life on Earth. And you have cards that you move through every day, and in a 52-day cycle and in a yearly cycle. And you can look those up on lifeelevated.life. It's a nonprofit foundation I started to share this ancient knowledge. So there will be many ways and times that you may experience this Nine of Spades in your life. Whenever you're experiencing it, a letting go is required. Letting go of something that you're attached to. Something that you've thought you needed. Something that you imagined was the foundation of who you thought you were. Some way of being or way of operating. Some assumptions that you've made about yourself and your life. Some expectations that you may hold. It's time to let these go. Another way of saying it is letting go of limiting beliefs. And these can be the hardest to let go of. We don't even realize we're holding them. They're like a clear bubble, and we don't even see it, right? We don't know. This is the famous glass ceiling, which we know about collectively in our culture, which is the unspoken assumption that women could not and should not be leaders. But there's no quote-unquote visible proof of it. It's a clear glass ceiling, but it's based on a set of assumptions and expectations. So that's a cultural reference point or a cultural marker that we have of this phenomenon. But we all experience that in some way for ourselves, based on our own personal assumptions and expectations that limit us. So let that sink in for a moment. That we all have a version of that. We all have a version of our own glass ceiling. A set of expectations and assumptions that limit us. These are unspoken. These are irrational. You can't see them, but they limit you and they block you. And when this one is present, we have an opportunity to let those go, to revision, to reimagine what's possible for us, to go to the next level of our life. But in order to do that, we want to let go, release, and dissolve the limiting assumptions and expectations that hold us back and hold us down. Now, at first, it could seem, as I said, like a tragedy of storm and shipwreck, and all the seas are up in arms and chaos. But this is all a way of, in some cases, forcing us to reimagine our situation. Right? Life hands us these opportunities that at first seem tragic, that really are opportunities to recalibrate and realign who we are. So the storm comes to force you to pay attention. And the thing that you're most, let's say, upset about, or it bothers you the most, that's how you'll know that you're starting to put your finger on what is your limiting assumption and expectation. It's the thing that you feel like you bump into all the time, and then you start to feel bad about yourself, or just feel like you should be something different, that there's a yearning in your soul, literally. There's a yearning in your soul. That's how you know that you're bumping up against some kind of limiting expectation or assumption. So then you can ask yourself, what is it here that really bothers me? What would I really like to move through here? And that can be how you start to unravel your own limiting assumptions. Another way of saying it is, ask yourself, what would I have to believe in order to be experiencing this right now? What would I have to believe in order to be having this life experience right now? And it could be, let's take a simple example, it could be that you believe you deserve to suffer, or that you should be punished. It could be that you believe somehow you're a bad person. It's kind of ridiculous, right? It's irrational. But it could be that somewhere along your life path, as a little child even, although it's a cliche, it's very true, somewhere along the way, someone told you you were bad or not good, or you were wrong, or someone made you feel that way about yourself, and you internalized it. And now you go through your life with that unconscious operating assumption that you're no good and unworthy. You're down in this low place of how you imagine yourself and how you visualize yourself. So anytime you step up in your career or in life or in a relationship and you're about to have a wonderful, fulfilling, satisfying moment, you might unconsciously sabotage it because you believe that you don't deserve it, or you believe that you're wrong, or you believe that you're being punished in life. These are the things we do to ourselves. These are the unconscious assumptions and expectations that hold us back. And when this one is present, we have the opportunity to face those and let those go. Very powerful. It's a very powerful opportunity that at first may seem like a chaos and tragedy and snowstorm and shitstorm. Am I allowed to say that? I think I'm allowed to say that. I'm not going to be censored for using the S word on my video this week. It's so funny. My kids get my daughter's 12, my son is 11. They actually get upset at me when they hear me curse. They're like, "Ooh, Daddy said that word." Anyway, yes, it can be a very powerful experience when we move through this Nine of Spades. Whatever is this middle stumbling block. Let's visualize. I can say anything on Facebook, right? Let's imagine you're here and you're looking up. Just visualize with me for a moment. And you're looking up. There is like a stumbling block over your head, or there's this thing that you feel like you can't break through, but you can't name it. Whatever that is for you, I want you to imagine that that's going to be the next standing point that you stand on, the next rung that you get to stand on. So the very thing that was blocking you becomes the thing that is the foundation for the next level of your life. That's how to visualize that. So whatever it is that's blocking you, as you break through it, it becomes the very thing you stand on, like you're standing there now looking up at the next level, becomes the very thing you stand on for looking at the next level of your life. And that's how I encourage you to visualize it. The thing that blocks you is going to become the foundation of the next level of your life. And what I do, and what I encourage you to do, is actually ask out into life. I don't say God, I say life. In life we live and move and have our being. Life is omniscient and all-powerful. There is no life but life, and we are alive with life. Life is that one essence that is in everything, right? Everything is alive. That's the one essence. And life is alive with consciousness. So I invite you to ask life, please show me how to move to the next level of my life. You may even say, I don't know how to do it, and I'm not sure what it looks like, but please show me how to move up to the next level of my life. And make that your prayer. And then look to see what synchronicities or serendipities or signs you receive from life. I don't know how to move up to the next level, but please show me what that looks like. Please show me how to climb the ladder of my life. So with this open prayer, I invite you to then receive guidance and answers of how to move to the next level of your life. You could be even more specific. You could say, I'm not sure what's holding me back. I'm not sure what's limiting me, but I'm open to see what that could be. Please show me. Please show me what's holding me back. Please show me what's limiting me so that I can see it and then move through it. And you can make that your prayer. Okay. Nine of Spades is a powerful energy. So again, be aware of ups and downs, enlightened moments, paranoid suspicions, and everything in between. And to play your cards right is to utilize this opportunity to break through something that limits you and go to the next level of your life. And so, I invite you to live your life like it's your favorite game to play. Have fun, everyone.